Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone, obsidian and Flinty's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack, building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients to thrive back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone coming dreams, never looking back. From Texas to the moon, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Building the hammer, he's steady and strong, creating a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, find some magic every little bit. A sculpture of stories buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, sparks start to fly as these rude awakens. We question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that can fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to the moon, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Building the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for a place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he breaks forth the light, and every great morning he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. Shaping the future one chip at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack, stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to the moon, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here to the morning, with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit in the crack, he's paving the way through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, everybody. I'm just getting ready. This is a 2-hour live stream. I got a new microphone, so things might be sounding a little funny. We'll get it straightened out eventually. Yeah, the phone's microphone is not working right, so as usual. So I got another microphone. External. They all work a little bit differently, even though I usually buy the same cheapo little microphones. Okay, so I'm just getting ready. I'm going to see who's in the chat. Yeah, I see people saying hello already. Okay, so let me see. I use another phone to check myself on the YouTubes because it's easier for me to see the chat that way. Because it's easier for me to see the chat that way. I am live. Yes, yes. Okay, so I've got the microphone set up so it's not so close to me or the phone where I play the music from. So hopefully it worked out okay. I can always rewind this live stream and see if it worked. Let me see. I did some humming. I want to check the sound on the background music. And don't worry, we've got copyright for that. That's my theme song for the channel. Gotta wait until I can hear. I'm gonna play it here in a second. I rewound the live stream so I could hear it. Let's see. Gotta wait. Come on. You can do it. Stop humming. And just.
Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man, Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone, the city, and playing piece in the song. He's shaping the future.
Okay, so that's good enough. Yeah, I need to turn down that music a little bit more. Yeah, but it still sounds very tinny. Anyways, we'll get to figure out eventually. What do we got going on in the chat? The chat's not working right. I got a split screen. Hold on a second. I know I can do this better. All right, at least I can see the chat. Okay, so who's here? Jesse Williams. Alan is here. Richard. See, this is not working right. Let me figure out how to get into the channel where I can actually access the chat properly. There it goes. Now, where was I? Martin is here. Bren is here. Flakesguard. Matthias Melander is here. It's late for you. He's over in Denmark. Marty's here. Mac Bales, Danny Moore, Jared, Tommy Taylor, Mike Mason, Drew's Concrete. Hey, how's it going? Long time no see. Jim Cooper. Hey, Dockenstein. Swollen. Okay, I'll just call you Swollen. Bro is streaming himself, streaming his streams. Yeah. Bruh, what are you doing, bruh? You got too much technological going on there. I know. Okay, so got new people too? Yes, yes. All right. There's not too many people that tuned in. Usually I got about 50 to 70 people in the beginning. But once I start napping, they'll stop to check it out. All right. So I've got different stones from Harper, Texas. I still got at least a bucket and a half of these nodules. I don't know if I like that one, but if this one is too raw. Yeah, it's too raw, and what do I say? It's not nice. Sure, it looks nice, but it's not nice to nap. This one might be nice to nap and nice looking. Maybe it is. Is it amoeba chert or what is it? I don't know. I really don't know what the type it is. Kind of looks amoeba-ish. Yeah, it looks amoeba-ish. And I think it's knapping kind of amoeba-ish. That'll be sweet. Yeah, that'd be very sweet. If that's what it is. So I'm just going to go around the outside. 13 or 14 ounce bopper, solid copper, not lead filled. These are a little bit slightly lighter than the lead filled, but I can bang these up all day long and they won't get deformed like the lead filled. And I can grind these without worrying about hitting the lead through the copper. You know, when I want to clean these up, I got a set of 5. Come on. It's tougher than amoeba. Yeah, so it might not be amoeba-ish. It looks amoeba-ish, but I don't know. There it goes. Big flake. Yes, see? It's a big flake. It's going to fly away. Yeah. So there's some natural cracks in here. And if it's natural, it's good, right? Yeah. As long as it's a natural crack, it's good. Anything natural, it's nice.
You're making fun of nature, dude? You're always making fun of something. You're just a loser. Can't think of anything else to do but make funny stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I can't think of what else to do, so I just make fun of stuff. All right. What do we got going? I'm just trimming the edges so I can get a biface. And wasting material because this wastes material. Just trying to get a biface out of it is one of the most wasteful things you can do with a stone. Yeah. What you should be doing, if you want to get the most out of it, is focus on, first off, what size of points you're going to make. Usually points back in the day were made in sets, like you'd make 5 at a time. So you figure out what the size is that you want to make, and then you look at the rock and say, okay, I need spalls of a certain size and not a biface. And you try to get spalls of the size you need for the point, instead of trying to go for a biface and then sort through the waste to see if you can use any of the waste later. You're not going to be able to use much of that. What I call crud flakes. There's a bunch of crud flakes if you're just trying to get a biface. Many times guys they don't even pay attention to trying to get long flakes like that. They'll just trim, and they'll just end up with a bunch of crud flakes and one biface. And sometimes that biface doesn't work out. It'll break in half, and then all you got is a broken in half biface and a bunch of crud flakes. It's highly wasteful, just so you know. New guys, they'll buy a box of rocks, and they'll go, okay, I'm going to maximize each one of these, try to get a biface out of each one. And if I don't get anything out of the big biface, at least I'll get a little biface, right? The entire approach is wrong. If you want to maximize your yield from that box you just bought, that approach is wrong. And I can say that from experience. What you should be doing is figuring out what you want to make first. Did you buy the box of rocks so you can make hunting points? Because that's what a lot of guys do. If that's the case, figure out what size hunting points you're going to use. 100 grains, 150 grains, 40 grains or 50 grains. All right, and get the size. Maybe a buddy of yours will lend you a little stone arrowhead that you can copy. And then you look at your rocks and you say, okay, I need to figure out how to spall these so I can get a bunch of flakes for my arrowheads. You know, like that. That's an arrowhead type flake. And you look at your rocks and you go, well, I don't know if I can spall that one, so I'll put that one aside. Okay, this one looks like it's spallable. Like one like this might be spallable for you because you can kind of experiment with it and maximize it, potentially. So you knock off big flakes if you can. Right? You practice getting this kind of flake without worrying too much about maximizing it for a biface. Just try to get these big flakes. That was not that great. Okay. Now some might say, well, in the process of me doing the biface, I'm going to get flakes and it'll be great, tremendous. Well, usually, you don't. You're kind of trimming and you get little bitty flakes. You're not trying for big flakes. Learn to get some big flakes so you can make arrowheads or whatever you're trying for. Now, if you're trying for just the bifaces, yeah. If that's what you're after, just be aware that it's one of the most wasteful things you can do, and you're going to be going through lots of boxes of rocks. Whereas if you're just going for arrowheads for hunting, and you're careful about spalling, you won't be spending all that much money. Better yet, you pick up flakes from buddies, or go to a Knapping and try to get flakes. So you don't have to buy these boxes of rocks, and you don't have to worry about trying to get some of these flakes yourself. I get a lot of questions on that. Mainly, not through emails or anything, but over time, one of the first things I've noticed the questions come up is, how do I not waste so much rock? Or how do I make the most of what I got? Seems like I'm spending a fortune on rocks. Or it seems like I'm spending forever looking for rocks and bifacing rocks and not ending up with, and then ending up with nothing. They don't ask me that online or in public because they're kind of embarrassed, I suppose. But I get that a lot. So I'm trying to let you know this is taking me a long time to figure this out. And this requires heat. This is very dry, very difficult to knap. This side was okay, but it's near the cortex, so it's got defects. It's not that great. But some of these I can knap right away that are not too bad. The second thing that's wrong with trying to get big bifaces without planning ahead is that you think that you'll at least, if you start with something big, you'll at least get something small from that big piece, right? Well, sometimes you get nothing because it's a different mindset. The big pieces are different mindsets from small pieces. If you don't know how to make big pieces, you're definitely not going to know how to make small pieces unless you've already had experience with small pieces. So many times a new guy will get a big box of rocks and he'll get maybe a biface like this, but it's not that great. It's got lots of step fractures and stuff in it. And you got a bunch of crud flakes. So he's hoping he'll get something, at least something out of it, without realizing that the mindset is totally different from big piece napping and small piece napping. They're totally different skill sets, and he won't get either. He'll just end up with a bunch of gravel. So focus on what you want first. Ask somebody, okay, if I want to make hunting points, what's the best thing to do? If you ask me that, the first thing I'm going to say is get a bunch of flakes from Knappings for free. And it might just shock you. Say, wait a second. I was going to buy some rocks. I'm glad you told me because I was going to spend like $400. It's better that you spend like $200 on gas and get free flakes and lots of free advice and maybe even some one-on-one tutoring at a Knapping and get more money's worth. Also, if you buy sight unseen, the stones sight unseen, you may not get what you need. Anyways, and you're getting something cruddy and you end up napping a bunch of crud and thinking it's good stuff. And you go, this is what napping's all about? Holy moly, I can't even get anything from this great stone. It's tremendous stone. I was told it was tremendous by the guy that's selling it sight unseen. Yeah. Many times you're not napping great stone if you don't see it before you buy it. Now, if there's a picture online, that does help, but sometimes it looks great, but it's an advanced stone for advanced nappers. It's great for advanced nappers, but not for new guys. How do you know if it's for new guys or for advanced nappers? You don't. That's why it's better to go to a Knapping. That way you can ask. Is this, or you bring your stone from your backyard and go, can I nap this? Does anybody know if I can nap this? I mean, I don't want to be spending too much time digging this up because, we were putting in like a septic and I found this in my backyard. And the napper will look at it. Sometimes he'll say, yeah, you can nap this, or no, this is absolutely not nappable at all. Instead of you trying to do it yourself. Instead of you trying to post it online, you post pictures of your backyard stone and people go, that kind of looks like jasper, or that kind of looks like quartzite. That kind of looks like this. It might be nappable, and you might want to heat treat it, and you might want to blah, 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 and you get all confused and you go, wait a second. Why is it all might this and might that? Don't you guys know what you're talking about? It's very difficult to judge rocks sight unseen. And very difficult to know if you got good stuff when you nap by yourself. You could spend years napping rocks that you think are good and then go to a Knapping and someone gives you something good and you go, wait a second, I didn't know it could be like this. I mean, I can actually run flakes with a pressure flaker instead of banging on it with like a hammerstone or a copper until I'm dying. I can actually run long flakes with just a little measly pressure flaker. Yeah. So, my advice is go to Knappings. But, there's most people either, I took a poll to find this out. Most people are either unable to go to Knappings because of either work or finances, or they're allergic to people. So that's like 70% of people either can't go or don't want to go. But for the 30% of you, you're going to be ahead of the game. Yeah. So my advice, again, is to become part of the 30%. Yeah. So you can get ahead of the game. Because you'll be spending nights by yourself in the shed. Your family's going to wonder what you're doing back there. Saying all these bad words, throwing stuff around, getting in a bad mood. come inside with cuts and stuff in your eyes, cuts on your hands and stuff in your eyes. Dad, what are you doing? If you have kids. If you don't have kids, your parents might say, what are you doing over there? Nothing. Leave me alone. I saw some cool dudes on the internet do stuff, so I want to do it. Yeah. So leave me alone. I'm doing the cool stuff. With misery. Some guy told me I'm going to do lots of pain and misery, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, that took off too much. I'm hitting this really, really hard. In case you don't know. It might look like it's easy to knap, but looks are often very deceiving. This knaps a lot like floor tile, actually. At this stage, with this non-heat treated rock, this raw stuff, yeah, once it starts getting thin, it starts to do this stuff, which requires a little more skill to not do that. You can't always avoid that, but, you know, there are ways to get better at not doing that, reduce your chances. Anyway, this is a prime example of a heat treat, potentially a heat treat. Okay, so this one seems to be a little bit better. Okay, let's check the chat because I saw some super chats. Matthias, 100 Danish? Holy moly. Thank you, thank you. That's like the biggest super chat I've ever gotten so far. Wow. Okay, $5 Talkenstein. Buy some nice stone. Yes. I will now, for sure. So yeah, I'm knapping tough stuff. My friend Leo gave me a bunch of rocks from Harper, Texas. Lots of different kinds in that batch that he gave me. He gave me 2 buckets, and I've already gone through half a bucket so far. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Moneybags, Matthias, thank you. That's awesome. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to read the chat. Hold on a second. I'll get back to knapping in a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the chat. Gary says you would freeze your rocks off. Yes, it's kind of cold. Yeah, we got into negative numbers last night. Negative Fahrenheit. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Tommy Taylor says he does not do cold. I cannot stand it if I don't have at least one season that it's very cold. I mean, I grew up in New Hampshire. I mean, I'm not fantastically joyful when it's cold. I do like the winter because it's all snowy and it feels like Christmas time when Christmas comes. That kind of thing. I like it. I like the winter, but I don't spend a lot of time out in the winter. I got the heater going in the shop right now. So I'm looking at this. There's a lot of messages being deleted, right? We have a good moderator, Michael, Red-Eyed Patriot. In my chats, I've got a lot of youngins watching, some from my family, and then we got new people that are young people. So yeah, watch your language so that Mike doesn't delete you. And if I see you're just posting numbers in the chat, I'll delete you. Let's see, who's this? I think okay. Let's go back to the end. Let's see here. We got some new people. Yes, new people in the chat. That's good. That's good. So I'll get back to knapping here in a minute. Okay. So What I did was I just knocked off the outsides of these stones mostly and got some bifaces. Now this one I need to heat treat. It's not that great, especially as it gets thinner and thinner. It's going to do this more often and get all crushy. You know, because there's only so much strength that the edges have when it starts getting thin. You can't work miracles. As you start getting thinner, the edge gets thinner too. You can't have real thick edges, or you can't have really good striking areas or pressure areas when it's really, really thin. Okay, so you got to become used to it and get lots of practice to get them really thin. There's like 1,000 steps to learning how to get something thin. So if you're new and the first question out of your mouth is, how do I get it thin? I mean, I need a quick answer because I only learn quickly. Yeah. Okay. There is no quick answer. There's 1,000 steps to take before you can get something thin. Now, you can start with something thin and skip all that and just trim around the edges. If you want something thin right away, start with something thin and trim around the edges. It's going to look dumb because it doesn't look like the stuff in the books, but at least you'll get something done, if that's what you want. Some people might say, no, I don't want to get something done. I want to get something done right. Yeah. Okay, fine. I get it. You're going to have to practice. This is not something where I can just tell you what to do and then you do it. It's not that kind of skill. This requires a lot of investment in time, sometimes money, and lots of pain and suffering. Yes. Knapping is more like a sport than a skill. Some people make fun of me when I say that, but you'll find out. You will find out. Yeah, but sports are skills. What are you talking about? You're such a dork. Yeah, well, there's a difference between some skills and knapping that you might not think is there. You might think that, oh, I know how to carve wood. I know how to do all kinds of stuff. You know, I can do taxidermy. I can build fires of different types. I can, you know, identify wood and cut lots of different kinds of wood. Yeah, I got taught and I learned quick. Okay, well, that's not what Flintknapping is like. Knapping stone is not like cutting wood. Okay, it's nothing like it. It's more like learning how to shoot a ball into a hoop, or, you know, hitting a ball with a golf club and getting it into the hole, or bowling. I was watching some bowling the other day and said, you know what? I'm thinking about control, and a lot of flint knappers say that there's controlling of the flakes. Well, flint knapping is kind of like bowling, okay? You can control the ball and your motions and stuff, but once you let that ball go, it goes down the lane and knocks over the pins. You cannot control how the pins are being knocked down. You can only control the ball as you're throwing it, but once you let it go, everything is out of your hands. Same with the flake. You can control everything up to the strike, but once that flake starts going, it's out of your hands. You can get better at doing the initial movements. You can take some precautions to prevent catastrophe, but once you hit, the flake is out of your hands. You don't know exactly what it's going to do. Just like when you're bowling, once you let go of that ball, it's out of your hands. Okay? The pins are going to fall the way they fall. You can get good at your aim, just like in flint knapping. You can get good at your aim. You can get good at your release. You can get good at the stepping up to the final position to throw. You can get all that done. You can work on your musculature and all that stuff. But once you let go of that ball, it's out of your hands. Same in flint knapping. Once you make that strike, that flake's going to do whatever it's going to do. Yeah, and sometimes it's predictable and sometimes it isn't. In fact, flint knapping is a little bit harder than bowling because you never know with stone. It's different in different areas. It's not going to do the same thing every single time. Whereas the ball in bowling, and the pins and the lane and the atmosphere and your musculature, everything's the same. Basically, it's the same movement, basically the same. Everything, just slight tweaks in where you release the ball. Basically, okay? Here, if you do just the same thing all the time, it's not always going to work. You need slight tweaks. And sometimes the rock is not going to be the same. So even with the slight tweaks, even with lots of practice, you're still going to mess up. And you're not going to know why. It's going to drive you nuts. Because you think, I can do bowling, but I can't do Flintknapping. What's up? Everyone's giving me a bunch of BS. Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, get back to napping. Yeah, get back to napping because you were up on a soapbox. I don't want to hear it. Well, I'm trying to give you some advice, right? I mean, that's what part of why you're watching this is to get some advice. I hope. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe you just want me to shut up and nap. Yeah. No, I want you to shut up. Yeah, but I want you to explain exactly how you do it, why you do it, all the angles, all the forces, and all the geometrical stuff, and all the archaeological stuff. Check and be technical and serious, and be just like an encyclopedia. Yeah. I shouldn't say encyclopedia because not many people know what that is these days. I cannot get the physics correct with Flintknapping, so I can't be that technical. I can't be scientific. And I can't go by what the archaeologists say because many of them are not nappers and they get it wrong as far as the basics. Of course, they're going to get the complicated stuff wrong, but they get the basics wrong too. If they're not nappers, they're not going to get anything correct. They're just going to regurgitate what they heard. And hopefully what they heard was correct. But many times that's messed up too because other people are regurgitating wrong information as well. So where do you get good information? You get good information from your own experience in napping because everyone's different. Everyone has different experiences when they're napping. Two people can be napping the same kind of stone and they have to do it in completely different ways to get the same result. Okay? And two people can be napping exactly the same with the same stone and get completely different results. Because people are different. So bottom line is you're just going to have to do it. You're going to have to get out there and do it. That's it. And you know what? Your brain is going to take over the angles. It's going to know the angles subconsciously. You're not going to have to think about it. It's going to know the force subconsciously. You don't have to think about it. It's going to know when there's a change in the stone subconsciously. You don't have to think about it. Eventually, you don't have to think about much at all except the final destination and maybe some strategies in where to hit next consciously. But all the complicated stuff, it goes into your subconscious, and your subconscious takes care of it. That's how we developed. Our brains developed to take care of all that stuff because it's too complicated to do it consciously. Okay? All right. So if I have a hard time explaining to you all the angles, there's two reasons. One, a lot of times I don't know what's going on because my subconscious is doing it. And number two, the physics, I have some idea of how the physics work, the fracture mechanics, but trying to explain it is very difficult to get correct. because I don't have equipment to verify what I'm saying. The only way I can get what I'm saying correct is if I have equipment, measuring devices to be checking what I'm saying. Did I actually hit at that angle? Did I apply that much force? Is the rock actually different at that spot? Is the tool actually sufficient as far as the bumpiness or the smoothness? I mean, there are machines that can measure all this stuff and give me a number. And I may or may not be correct. In fact, I probably won't be exactly correct. And it'll throw everybody off. Because if you're depending on exact things and you're trying to control, so to speak, everything down to the last minute detail, it's going to mess you up if I'm wrong on something. Whereas you just don't need to worry about that. The more you practice this, the more your subconscious says, hey, I got something to do now. He's not going to be able to consciously think about this stuff, so now I got a job to do. Yeah. And you're going to have to start developing your subconscious instead of wasting it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I crunched it right there. I have a habit of crunching it right there near the tip. I'm consciously trying to figure out how not to crunch it. And the only thing I can come up with is just keep trying to just keep narrowing it down until I finally get it right. And then I live with what I've got after. There you go. See, if I had done that earlier, I would have had a wider biface. This is pretty tough as well. Let's see if I can get a better one. This is a good piece for heat treating as well. Let's see if I can get something a little bit better. Hold on. Why am I going to get something better? Just because it's more enjoyable. I can kind of think better and chat better if I got something that's not too difficult. The more difficult it is, the more I have to consciously think about it. Yeah. And it distracts from the conversation. Because I'm such an awesome conversationalist. Oh, yes. Let's see. Okay. Two more. Let's see what these are like. Yes. These are all from Harper, Texas. Harper. Harper, Texas. If you don't know where that is, it's okay. I don't want you going down there and taking all of our rocks. Well, now I'm going to look for it, dude. Just because you don't want me to, I'm going to go look. I'm going to take them all. I'm going to take all them rocks. Yes. Because you don't want me to. Yeah, I know. I've had that before. I've heard that before. Yep. You're just selfish. I always like to steal from selfish people. Yeah. Is this good? Am I wasting it? Well, I took off some of those cracked areas. It's got cracked areas. So I got to get rid of those. Yeah. I didn't tell you about those before, did I? See that? Why is it doing that? Because it's all cracked. Sometimes these are weather cracked or freeze cracked or whatever. Sometimes these are cracked by fires, brush fires and stuff back in the day. Or maybe even recently. See, when these are on the surface of the ground, they are exposed to potential fire damage from brush fires. It looks a little bit different than this when it's fire damaged. the cracks are very close together, and it looks all mushy, sort of. I don't know how to explain it, but these just look like weathering cracks, or sometimes they're pressure cracks that happen underground, or as it starts to erode, you'll get variations in pressures, and sometimes it'll bend these in the ground as it starts to erode. Sometimes there's a different amount of pressure on different sides of the stone, and you'll get cracks just because of the natural pressures on the stone. This one looks okay. This piece looks okay. Yes, I see a crack in here, but that might not be too bad. And the Native Americans and all flint knappers throughout history had to deal with the same issues, cracks in the stone and all that. So don't feel too bad. This one looks nice, but looks can be deceiving. See, it looks kind of glossy right there. This might be okay. Let's see. Maybe a little more enjoyable to knap. Yes. Hopefully. Maybe. Yeah, it's a little bit more waxy. Oh, sweetness. And it's straight, and there's not many cracks underneath the cortex. It's beautiful, and it's tabular. Yeah.
Well, what's the matter? What happened to tabular?
Don't worry about it. You'll find out eventually.
No, but I want to know about tabular now. I want to know because I'm brand new. I need to know everything in the beginning.
Yeah. New guys don't know what they need to know. I've seen so many new guys insist on me telling them, I need to know this, I need to know that, I need to know this. Man, you are new. You do not need, you don't know what you need to know. As a new person, you don't know what you need to know. Not yet. Just because you heard someone say it doesn't mean that's what you need to know. There's, these thought experimenters are a dime a dozen. A new person does not know what they need to know. Okay? And you'll find out as you become less new at this, you'll go, yeah, I remember when I used to tell people what I needed to know, and it's just not what I needed to know. No. But they were nice enough not to tell me to shut up. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you to shut up. I'm just going to say that you don't need to know. You don't know what you need to know if you're new. So just get down to doing it. And after you've done a bunch and you're still having problems, then you can ask questions. Yeah. Ask questions that will actually help yourself. You'll get into a position where you're actually asking questions that will help you instead of just asking them because maybe you heard they should be asked. Or you're just not clear on it in the beginning by watching it. Some people might say,
I need to know what to do before I start doing it because I gotta have something to give me a frame of reference. I need a baseline, dude. I need baseline.
Baseline is get a rock and start hitting it. That's baseline. That's it. And if you want to know how they did it back in the day, if you're one of those guys.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that I gotta know how they did it back in the old days. That's the way I want to learn.
Okay? Well, back in the old days, everyone was pressed for time. There wasn't much time for anything. So you just sat down with rocks and watched other guys doing it. And if they were nice enough, maybe they would spend a little bit of time with you. But in most cases, they were probably like, just do what I did. My dad just sat me in the quarry and said, don't come back until you got something that looks good. See you later. I got to go get a deer. I don't have time to be teaching you. And yeah, I'm being hard on you, but you'll thank me later. Bye. So that's what happened. How do I know these kind of things? As a father, your priorities are to provide food first and shelter first, and then everything else. So if you didn't have any food available that day, he's not going to sit down and teach you. He's got to go get food. And if the house is leaking, the lodge is leaking, Dad, it's leaking. I got to, my bed got soaking wet last night. So we got to go fix the lodge. Make sure that leak doesn't happen again tonight. And millions of other things. Need more firewood. Someone stole something out of the camp last night. Go find the person who stole it and get it back. And if you have to, just knock some heads. There's a lot of thieving that's going on. Or we got our grandma just moved in with us because she's sick. Okay, now we got to get some plants. Here's the list. I can't go with you because I got to take care of grandma. She's cold. I need to make some new clothes for her. She can't do it anymore. So go get these plants. You just leave Junior in the quarry to nap on his own. And endless chores to be done when you have to do everything yourself. Okay, and you can learn to do this on your own just by watching, as long as your ears work and your eyes work. How is it that your eyes won't work and your ears won't work? Well, some people, their eyes don't work unless they like what they're hearing, and their ears don't work unless they like what they're seeing. And it works the other way too. If they like what they're seeing too much, they don't care what their ears are hearing. As long as they like what they're seeing, they don't care what the ears hear. And as long as they like what they're hearing, they don't care what they're watching. As long as it's good what they're hearing. That's how they don't work. You can't be one of those guys. You'll be much better off if you let your eyes work and your ears work properly. Yeah, it's good. This is nice. Yeah. You can do that kind of stuff with better quality stone. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Yep, yep. Now, when archaeologists talk about flintknapping, they're focused on the skill of flintknapping. They don't emphasize the fact that there are priorities in life that are different than what we have these days with hunter-gatherers or whoever they're studying. And they don't talk about competition with other predators. That kind of thing. Because not only does the provider need to go and get food in the form of, let's say, deer or some other animal that's similar, you've got to worry about predators as well. Are the predators taking the deer? If they are, you need to go after them. All right, and that takes time. It takes time because predators are pretty smart. I think it takes more time to hunt down a predator than it does to hunt down a prey animal. You can set traps for prey animals easier than you can for predators. Predators are a little bit smarter. You can still set traps for them, but I think for the most part, back in the day, you went after the predators, actively hunting them, either human predators or otherwise, stalking them, learning their habits. You need to suppress all that, not only because it kills your prey animals, predators also kill your children. Back in the day, they had all these considerations and all these things that archaeologists don't talk about, but they were priorities that take you away from spending time flintknapping. But they're focused on the flintknapping. They're thinking that these hunter-gatherers can just sit around and talk for hours and hours and hours because they're going by what they see these days. Yeah. We have easy lives these days. All right, so what's the next step? The next step is to get it thinned. So let me see. Yeah, of these three, this last one is by far the best. And this one here, this needs heat treat. It's very grainy. So we'll put these aside. I'll put these in a box for later, and then I'll clean up a little bit. We can move on to the next stage. I was doing some research on calling in. You can call in predators, making distressed sounds. You can call in other game animals too. But you can call in predators and kill them that way rather than trying to stalk them or killing them in their dens. But you still got to spend time sitting there calling them in. It takes time. Okay, that's all I'm saying. You don't have much time to be sitting around hours and hours learning this stuff. And if you tag on the time it takes to go to the quarry and back by walking, that takes time. Okay? Can't just drive like we do. Or mail order it. You guys actually have to physically take yourself walking, and you can't be doing much napping while you're walking. You can try, but you're not going to get very far doing it. All right, so that's good. Next stage is thinning, but let me check the chat. See how many people are saying I'm full of BS. Let's see. So Danish flint, yeah. Matthias has lots of Danish flint, and Danny Collins has lots of it too. Noel says, how old do you think the oldest points are in the U.S.? It used to be Clovis, but now even further back? Yes. I mean, it's a guess. No one really knows. Well, they have carbon-14 dating now on points that are older than Clovis. And one of them is the Wilson point, which I think is 1,000 years older, at least, than Clovis, found in the United States and North America. What is a Wilson point? Let me see if they have it in here. Yeah, they got this. These are older than Clovis. Now this one here, they're found both before Clovis and after Clovis. This book just says the dates after Clovis. But they have determined that they are found not only after Clovis, but before Clovis as well. What else do we have here? This book is a little bit outdated, but it's still good for the diagrams because these are actual size. They don't have side views, which stinks, but at least you get actual sizes on some of these. So what do I think is the dates for the points that have been found that are older than Clovis? Well, I don't have to guess on that. I think there's established dates. I just need to look them up. I don't know them off the top of my head. But you can look them up. There are ways to look that up. I use Grok. I can do that right now. Let's see. Let me just, no, I don't have Grok on this phone. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, let's see. Oh, no, I don't, because I got to sign in with Google and it doesn't work. Or sign in with X. Does it work? Hold on a second. I want to look it up because there are, I'm going to show you there are ways to look that up. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it on this phone. For some reason, it won't let me. Anyways, I think 14,000 years is a good date on at least one of the Clovis, pre-Clovis types. And I don't know if that's from Cactus Hill. What site was it? I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I just know that there's that 14,000 year date PC stuck in my head. So yeah. Okay. What else we got? Let's see. Jeremy says, have you ever napped glass? Oh, yes. Just look at my videos for napping glass. You can type in Jack Crafty glass. I've napped glass a lot, yep. Jay Valdez, I finished my first 2 points today, and I owe it to your videos. Nice, crafty quality. Not crafty quality, but decent for a beginner. Thanks, Crafty. You the man. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thanks for the kind words. Frodo Joe says, the oldest projectile points, often referred to as arrowheads or darts, found in the Americas approximately 15,700. All right, there you go. Meadowcroft, 16,000 years old. Meadowcroft site near Washington, Pennsylvania has revealed points carbon dated to 21 to 22,000 years ago. See, there you go. Someone look up Cactus Hill. I want to know what the dates are on that one. Or is that still controversial? What is this BS you are full of? It says, Ed. People have accused me of being full of BS. Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised. Or maybe you won't be surprised. Let's see. Somebody was... Michael timed somebody out. I don't get to see these, though, right? I wanted to see some of the dum-dums. Mr. Jim, Danny, do you sell shirts? Danny's in the house. Yep, Danny is in the house. If you need rocks and tools, Danny's your guy. Danny provided the theme music for the channel, too. He's a supporter of this channel, and I'm a supporter of his channel and his website. I send people over there. They ask me a question. I go, just ask Danny. Some people ask me, what temperature do you heat treat this stuff? I don't get it. Well, I don't heat treat that stuff. Just ask Danny. He's probably wondering, So that's why people are asking me these questions, man. Let's see. The primitive gentleman asks me, Patrick, what's the most interesting fact you discovered about the Native Americans? And also, what's the coolest artifact you ever found? What's the most interesting fact about Native Americans that I've discovered? The most interesting, fantastical thing that I've discovered about Native Americans. There's so many different tribes, right? So, in general, the most fascinating thing is, gosh, let me see. I think they're the domestication of plants and animals by Native Americans is the most fascinating thing. I believe they domesticated plants and started farming way before anybody else. I'm trying to think here. Almost right away when they entered the New World, they started selectively breeding plants and animals. As soon as they got into the New World, so maybe they brought that with them, but it seemed like the domestication exploded once they hit the New World. Other than that, everything is pretty, straightforward as far as technological advances go. I'm just amazed that most of the world now depends on plants domesticated by Native Americans, and sometimes even animals domesticated by Native Americans. But mainly the plants. Someone says fascinating. Thanks for keeping the art alive. Yes, you're welcome. Rock analogies. Okay, what I'm trying to do is look for questions. There was some good questions. All right, I've seen those. Mike says, I got to agree with that fascination, Mr. Patrick. It's always occurred to me that the Native Americans were the first to make GMO corn. Oh, yes. They made GMO tobacco. They made GMO squash. Genetically modified. They hybridized lots of different plants. And they selectively destroyed and cultivated competing plants when they were doing their farming, and they would dig canals and stuff for irrigation as well. All these advanced Native American civilizations in different parts of North and South America had extensive irrigation canals. No one talks about that. Let's see. I'm trying to think. What was the second part of your question? Oh, what was the most interesting artifact that I found? It was probably a bell point. I actually found a bell point myself, and it was made of white chert. And I found a Toya point of white chert as well. And I cannot, to this day, find the white chert that those are made from. They must have traveled a long ways to get the white chert from somewhere, and this is in Texas. Maybe they dug it all up and there's no more left. I don't know. Alan says, Patrick, why is your abrader so small? I don't know, man. I need a bigger one. This is so lame. Yeah. I don't like it. Yes, I'm lying. Let's see. So no one is telling me what the age of Cactus Hill is? Let's see. What? Stock market? I don't want to talk about stock market. Jim Cooper says, I've seen those canals firsthand at Montezuma's Castle in Montezuma, as well as Arizona. Yes, I've seen some of that too when I went to Mexico. But lots of work. I mean, it's not easy stuff to maintain canals because they get full of silt. And, the rivers that they were using flood every year too, so it just ruins the canals. The flood waters, it replenishes the soil and everything, but it ruins the canals and they have to redig every year. Not completely, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so you guys were talking about other stuff. Did Danny tell you what he used to make the theme song? I'm looking for that. I saw that question. Danny's not telling. Or he left. He left the chat. Cactus Hill Archaeological Site in Virginia contains evidence of human occupation dating between 18,000 and 20,000 years ago, making it one of the oldest. There you go, 16,000 to 20,000 year old pre-Clovis. Yeah. And I think they found some artifacts on Cactus Hill that dated to around 14,000. I'm not sure, but that's what's stuck in my head. So yeah, thanks for looking that up for me. Jason says, I see the Band-Aid. What's the worst napping accident you've had? My worst napping accident was when I was trying to pressure flake with the preform in a vise, a real vise. And then I had two hands on the pressure flaking trying to remove pressure flakes, and I slipped. I don't know if I was using both hands. I had the preform in a vise, and I was using both hands with the Ishi stick, and I slipped, and I went like this and cut myself back here, right on the back of my hand, and there's still a scar there. It's not that deep, but it went across my hand. But the deepest part was right in here. But I didn't get stitches or anything. All I did was I closed it up. What did I do? I don't think I used super glue on it, but I had some bandages that allowed me to close up that wound, and then I kept it wrapped, and I kept some topical antibiotic on it for about a week, and it healed up really fast. I got lucky. It was a very deep. It didn't hit anything, luckily, but I could see down in there. That was the worst. The Band-Aid is from just general wear on the skin of my thumb. And I cut myself again today doing last minute napping, but I have a bunch of cuts on my thumb just from doing a lot of napping. Little bitty cuts, and I don't know why they're on my thumb. Probably because I'm searching through rocks and flakes and moving a bunch of flakes. I wear a glove usually on my left hand, but not my right. All right. So, 200 people watching. Let's get to napping again. I'm going to use indirect percussion with a 3/8" copper rod. Okay? Because I'm more accurate with this. If anybody has a bigger abrader, let me know. Dude. Bruh. Yeah, okay, fine. I know. This is humongous, I know. We're trying to be funny. Some people don't have sense of humor. Not in that way. It's funny because the people that don't have a silly sense of humor, they do have a sense of humor, but only if you're mocking somebody. Yeah. Like, that guy's a loser. That guy fell down because he's a loser. That guy has bad luck because he's a loser. They mock. They have the sense of humor for mocking. I don't get it. But the human brain is funny. We try not to mock too much on this channel. I mean, I get it. Mocking can be fun. Yes. I try to mock those that deserve it. Yeah. And if you don't deserve it, I will apologize. I'm not above apologizing. I just don't do it very often. Yeah. That's not funny, dude. I know. Not funny to you. Because you'd rather me mock someone. That would be funny. Yeah. I like it when you mock yourself. Yeah, it's the only funny stuff I like. Well, see, that's why I do it. Is that the only reason why I do it? No, because I do think it's funny. Yeah. All right. So what am I doing? I'm trying to make this all nice and neat. It's kind of wonky right now. See the edge? It's all kind of wonky. I'm going to unwonkify it. Yeah. It's a Flintknapping term. Yeah, it can't be all wonky. I've got to unwonkify it. When you do the percussion, or at least when I'm doing my direct percussion, I'm not very accurate, so it's all wonky after I finish my direct percussion. Now, I've learned to do it a little more carefully, a little more slowly, and a little bit better. You know, I'll take a smaller bopper from my set, and I'll be very careful and very gentle and very dainty, and I'll hold my pinkies out, and I'll nap like that. Yeah, with my little pinky out, and be very delicatory. Okay, now you're mocking people that are doing it right. Yeah, I know. They don't hold their pinkies out. Okay, fine. Yeah, let's see. So I use indirect percussion for two reasons. One, it's accurate, and two, it's less fatiguing. There's a lot less physical effort, and which means I can nap for longer periods of time, and I can get faster and faster. The irony is, now that I'm trying to sell points and stuff, I have to be a lot more careful, which slows me down. Yeah. I don't do I should probably start doing the 10-minute challenge type things, that sort of thing. See how fast I can do a point. But I'm in the mindset now of taking my time to do it more carefully, so I've slowed way down. I used to enter contests on speed napping or speed napping contests, but a speed napping contest doesn't really help you in terms of preparing you to make stuff that you can sell. Because you're going to end up with something that no one wants to buy if you do it fast. Yeah. So it's just a fun thing to do, to try to get something done really fast. It's not something that'll teach you how to make stuff that you can sell, which a lot of guys, that's what they're desperate to do. They just want something as a side hustle that doesn't cost a fortune. They don't care how much time it takes, as long as it doesn't cost a fortune. And they want to know how to do it. Just do it so I can do it. And copy. I want to copy so I can do it. Yeah. Need a new house. Need a new truck. Need a new wife. Need a new life. I know, I get it. Okay. I messed it up. It's getting thin. I tell you, I need a bigger abrader. That's why I messed it up. It's not big enough. What's up now? What am I going to fuss about next? Well, what I'm going to fuss about is this side's napping a lot better than this side. Yeah. I'm finding out that this side is good and this side's not good. Big surprise. And this was under the cortex. This is not. For some reason, the stuff that's just under the cortex is not doing good. I don't know. A lot of times it's the other way around. This is too fragile. Fragilate. I don't know. Okay. Yes. Let me see if I can get a big flake on that side instead of it being all crunchy. Now it's still going to do the crunchy thing. See, it's supposed to be a wide flake, but it didn't do it. Am I sure this was under the cortex? I'm pretty sure there was a light color right under the cortex and the dark color was in the middle. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong though. Whatever it is, this side is the stinky side, this one here. Because it's not running the flakes like I think they should be running. Whereas I can get the flakes I want basically pretty much on this side. But there is an island forming, so it's not that great either. I thought this was going to be good. Well, it's not bad as far as material quality. I just got to figure out where the sweet spot is, how much I need to grind, how much force, and all that to get to that sweet spot where the flakes will travel. Sometimes I just need to pay more attention and not talk. Yeah, do that, dude, because I'm tired of it. I'm sick of all the chit-chat. It's too much chit-chat. Yeah. All right, I can do that. I prefer not to talk, actually. You can talk as long as you're mocking something that's not me. Stop mocking me. Okay, I'll stop mocking you. Yeah, there you go. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. It's doing it because it's getting closer to the good side. Yeah. So where's the platforms? How do I know what the platforms are? The whole edge is hittable. The whole edge. There's no individual platforms anywhere because the entire edge is fair game. The entire edge. Anywhere along the edge. You can divide it into increments of 1/64th of an inch, and on every increment is a place to hit. Even if it's delicate? Yeah, even if it's delicate, that depends on what type of flake you want. If you only want a short little flake, it doesn't matter how much is ground down, as an example. Sometimes you can even hit a delicate edge and it'll still work, depending on the material. So there's no platform discussion that's useful on the edge. Where's the platform? It's on the flake. So you know how it was removed. You can discuss platforms on the flakes. See that? That's the platform. It's after the fact, not before the fact. And I get people angry at me when I say that. But you know what? I'm going to keep saying it. Because new people, they get confused. Okay, where's the platform? I mean, I know that I'm supposed to get it lower or something, and then hit the low spots, or maybe center line or something, and then grind it, maybe isolate it. But I don't every time I do it, it doesn't work. Every time I see a platform that I think is good, I hit it. It don't work. So what I recommend is just grind the whole area, and if it doesn't work in one spot, move over. Doesn't work, move over. Just keep moving to different spots, even if it's not great, and start to learn what the material does. And then after a while, you get to know which which areas are better than others, how much to grind so it doesn't smash all the pieces. Okay, because you're being opportunistic. And the way I knap, it's opportunistic. I don't construct areas to hit. I don't construct them. It's all incidental after I remove the delicate areas. Okay? And I hit everywhere. It doesn't matter to me. See, I'll hit anywhere, ground down or not ground down, depending on the flake I need. And sometimes I cheat and I don't grind it. And sometimes I over grind it where I'm not supposed to. Even after doing this for 15 years. If I slow down and be more careful and choose more carefully, yeah, I get better results. I just can't do that too much because, I get frustrated, burned out, or whatever. And I got to take a break. I don't feel like napping anymore. So, man, this is taking me too long. This is too much of a hassle. I got to do too much preparation on this particular stone. Let me set this aside and work on something better. Or something easier to nap. Or maybe I just won't nap today. Take a nap instead of nap. Yeah. Because my life is too easy. So I'm getting used to how much to grind it down and how much force to use. And I'm starting to find the sweet spot. And that has to happen with every piece at the thinning stage, at the most critical stage, so that you can get consistent flakes without step fracturing, and so you can actually start thinning. Only 2 of these or 3 of these went halfway or a little bit more. So I've got to work on making these either travel further or making it more narrow so that when they do travel, they will go past halfway. One of the secrets to getting them to go past halfway, as far as the flakes, is to make it more narrow. That way they will go past halfway. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to do it. You got to make it more narrow to get the flakes to go past halfway. If you start really wide and you can't get the distance, then you got to go more narrow. Yeah. Sometimes, like on obsidian, for example, you can make the flakes travel a long ways, and you're tempted to make big wide bifaces. They start getting thin, and you forget that you need convexity as well as nice material. And on obsidian, it's going to start diving in the middle, and you get all ticked off because they were going a little while ago that long, and now they're not. They're diving and stuff. Yeah, it's getting flatter, but that just shouldn't matter. Flatter doesn't matter. Yes, flatter matters. It does. Okay? Flatter does matter. It matters a lot. As it gets flatter, the flakes don't travel the same way. Okay? All right. Are we clear? No, we're not clear until you tell me how to do it so that the flatter doesn't matter. Sorry, I can't work miracles. Yeah. So it's all physics. Same way, I can't tell you how not to break it. I can help you take precautions, but it's out of your hands. Once you hit it, it's out of your hands. Like I was talking in the beginning of the video, that it's like bowling. Once you let go of that ball, the pins are going to do what they're going to do once the ball hits the pins in bowling. You're not controlling the pins. Archaeologists and lithic analysts will say you're controlling the flakes. It's like saying you're controlling the bowling pins. In bowling, you're not controlling the bowling pins. Yeah, you can score better over time with more practice. Just like in Flintknapping, you get a better score with your flakes over time. You get better and better at your success. But it's still out of your hands. Once you hit, that flake's going to do what it's going to do. Same with those balls in bowling and the pins. Same with the pins in bowling. You're not controlling the pins. And you're not controlling the flakes. I'm trying to pay attention right now because this is a critical step that I don't mess up the edge, because it's getting to the point where the edge is extremely important. It's got to be just right, or it's going to be too thin. I can't be thinning the edge too much. And on the other side, I can't have it too thick because it'll snap the whole thing. If I have to hit too hard because the edge is too thick, it'll snap the whole thing. It's got to be a sweet spot. Yeah, I think I found it. Yes? Yeah. Almost. If I had understood the sweet spot a little bit better, I would have probably made a longer flake. Let's see. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's just tough spots here and there on this side. There it is. But I see, I can't control what it's going to do at the endings of the flakes. I can control the middle pretty much, so to speak. All right? There's not much else. There's no other words to describe what happens, right? So the easiest part of the flake to predict is the middle. The ending is the hardest. The initiation is the middle. Okay, that's the second hardest area to predict. The third hardest area to predict is the ending. So if you're trying to do damage control with the endings of flakes, your odds of success go way down. So you have to try to damage control with the middle of flakes. It increases your odds of success. You can't always get a predictable ending of the flake, especially when you're trying to eliminate a obstacle. Yeah. Not only are obstacles far away, but they're an obstacle, and the endings of the flake are going to hit the obstacle, and the endings of flakes don't like hitting obstacles. They like something nice and clear. Okay, the endings of flakes, they want smooth sailing. They don't want any obstacles. No, they don't like it. But you know, you have to force it. You got to force them through these obstacles at the ending of the flake with, you know, very hard initial strikes, and that is dangerous for thin pieces. That's where the skill comes in, and that was probably lucky on my part. But I got to that sweet spot on how much to abrade the edge and how much force to use. So it increases my odds of success. So I'm using what I've learned so far from this piece every time I drive a new flake. Okay. And just because I can drive flakes on this piece doesn't mean I can drive flakes on the other piece. Like this one here. This is a different material, different consistency. Everything's different. The edges are kind of mushy on this one. And they do this also. I mean, this one does that too, but this one is especially crunchy. At least in this zone. They have zones too on these. Stones have zones. Yeah. If that's the way you need to remember it that way. Stones have zones where it's different hardnesses and stuff. Yeah. I got 20 minutes. I'm supposed to do a rock to point. but goofed around doing too many bifaces. Story of my life. On these live streams, I don't have much time. I would need a 3-hour live stream to do a complete rock to point. Yeah. I might start doing 3-hour live streams just so I can finish a point on video. On these live streams. It takes me a while because I check the chat. Plus, I try to think so I can speak during the live stream, so there's no dead air. I don't like watching videos that have a lot of dead air, even though they might be Flintknapping videos. Yeah, I'm guilty of changing the channel if there's too much dead air on a Flintknapping video. So there's that. I'm thinking about it. When can I do a 3-hour live stream? I can do it on Wednesdays. Wednesdays is slab day. But I think most people are able to see my live stream on Wednesdays. So I might start extending my Wednesday live streams to 3 hours. I cannot do it on Mondays because the auction. I gotta check the auction and announce the winners at 9 p.m. tonight. And I don't want to start the live stream earlier because I usually end up doing many things at the last minute. Yeah, I'm one of those people that has to do things at the last minute. Yeah. Try to sneak a bunch of stuff in at the last minute. So I'm sneaky that way. Yeah. I don't like it. That's just the way it goes. Hey, Alan gave me $5. I saw that. It popped up right in my face. I can see those super chat banners. Thank you, thank you. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, Ed Gould is leaving? Steven says, do it old school completely. Are you talking to me? What else? What else? Yeah, thanks, Alan, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Let's see. Yeah, if just to let you guys know, if you don't know how much I make on videos, if I make 10,000 views on a regular video, it's like $30 for 10,000 views on one of my regular videos. Now the shorts videos for 10,000 views, I make like $1. It's a big difference. But YouTube tends to promote the shorts. I'm trying to figure out if my edited videos in a vertical format are going to be worthwhile. So I started making some I made one edited video in a vertical format. We'll see how those go. But I make a lot more on super chats on the live streams. Yeah, so it's becoming a way for me to save up money to buy more stuff. These super chats. Let me see. I eat breakfast with a man named Marty most mornings, says Tommy. You have coffee every morning at the coffee shop? That'd be nice. I wish I could afford to do that. Well, I can afford to do that. I just don't want to do that because the coffee shops around here are highly expensive. The coffee is excellent, though. Let me see. And we have real coffee shops. It's not like, chains or whatever. Let's see. Okay, we're talking about games, maybe. Okay. Bren says, you're not considering people with otherworldly abilities, Patrick, like the Force. Yeah, some people have these miraculous abilities. Yeah. I'm not denying that, yeah. But I'm not talking to them. Yeah. Am I taking a break, says Harvin? Yeah, I'm taking a break to see if there's questions in the chat. Hey, Marty gave me a super chat just now. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm taking a break because the next stage after this is the hardest part, to actually thin down the thin piece. I don't need to thin it any more than this. I don't need to, right? But some people want to see how to get it even thinner because they see some of the artifacts are even thinner than this. So they want to know. They have inquiring minds that they want to know. How do you get it thinner than this? And it takes a lot of risk. That's how you get it thinner. It's risky. Yeah, so I got to take a break because it's hard. It's difficult to maintain the mental focus. Believe it or not, the brain uses up energy and it does get tired. And it requires a lot of energy to do the final stages as far as mental energy goes. Okay? All right. That's my excuse. You can skip. I can skip what? Harvin says I can skip. Patience is a virtue. Yes, it is. Patrick, you receive any tariffs on my packages? Says Matthias. I have to pay. I have to pay extra fees when I ship to you, but not when they get here. Yeah, I don't have to pay anything when the package gets to me, but I have to pay when I send to you. There's some duties that I need to pay when I send to you, Matthias, but they're not that much. Most of the price is tied to the weight of the package, and the packages I've been sending to you are kind of heavy. But no, I don't have to pay anything when I get the package. Hey, Jay Valdez says, nap on, Crafty. Is that a hint? Mac Bale's $10. If not for you, I could not nap. Thank you. Thanks, Mac. That's awesome. Let's see. Matthias is from Denmark. Yeah. So I'm going to try to make this even thinner. There's some lumpy areas, like there's one lumpy area here, but I don't need to go that much thinner. Oh, I should probably just start sharpening so I can make a rock to point. Yeah. Okay, so let's just skip the further thinning and add some notches. And then skip the sharpening because I don't have much time. Okay, so let's add some notches to this. And everyone, thanks for the super chats, everybody. Where is Matthias? He's in the chat. All right, so I'm going to pressure flake the edges to get them ready. Down here, I'm going to put some notches in. What type of notches? I'm going to do a Texas type point. So I'm thinking maybe a Marshall, since that's the easiest, so to speak, as far as stems and notches go. Marshalls are pretty relaxed. They're laid back points. You don't have to be fancy with them. So that's what I'm going to do. And somebody wanted me to use a notch-o-matic, so I think I'm going to use a notch-o-matic. But hold on, because I'm going to make a mess all over the place with my thumb here. So let's stop that, and then we'll get back to the napping. When I pressure flake, I put a lot of pressure on my thumb, and it ends up making a mess. It broke open that little cut. Okay, all right. Yes. So a Marshall has an expanding stem and long barbs. And someone wanted me to use a notch-o-matic more often, so I'm going to use a notch-o-matic. But let me start the notches with the pressure flaker, and then I'll move to the notch-o-matic in a minute. And the stem on the Marshall is not that fancy. I don't need like a flute down the center, although I am going to run I'm going to run a thinning flake into that area. Yeah. I don't need to, but I do want to get that thinner. And maybe I can send a flake up into that island and knock it down a little bit. Yeah. Yes or no? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take a flake from the side. If I take that thinning flake from the base, I risk snapping the whole thing. I still don't trust it. It seems like a strong stone, but I don't trust it. You know what I mean? I need to hit that pretty hard to blast through that area with a thinning flake from the base, like a flute. It's not convex enough either. See how it dips down a little bit? This is a concavity, so running a flake here is kind of risky. I need to knock this down, because as I start notching, that's going to get in the way. Yeah. I need to hit pretty hard. Let's see. It didn't quite go exactly as I was thinking, but it never does. Sometimes it does better than what I'm thinking, but it's what I'm trying to do is I've got to thin down the path of the flakes. Let's see. The path of the flakes for the notching. Let's see. I'm going to thin down the area. Yes. Is it going to work? It might work from this side. Yeah, I'm not going to risk it. Okay. So plans change, you know. I'm thinking maybe I can run flakes to thin before I do the notching, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I'm just going to start the notching with the pressure flaker. And as I get deeper, I'm going to switch over to the Notch-O-Matic, and you'll get to see what that is if you don't know what that is. So these are just simple pressure flakes, nothing special. If it looks like I'm running long flakes, it's just by luck. I'm just trying to get short flakes. See some thick spots on the edge. It's better to do these now than when I have barbs on it. I can run small flakes when there's barbs on it, but not these bigger flakes. These are like medium-sized pressure flakes. It's easier to do these now than later. And safer. Okay, so I'm starting the notches. Let's continue. And it's all kind of crunchy, but it doesn't matter. As long as I don't stall it, it doesn't have to be pretty. And it's harder to pressure flake than I thought. It didn't seem like it was going to be this hard. But it is tough material. Yes, yeah. Pretty typical of raw stuff. Yeah. Is these deep enough for the Nachomatic? Because that Nachomatic really is aggressive, and I'm not careful, it could ruin everything. Let's see. I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking. While I'm thinking, I'm going to thin the base down a little bit on this side. See that? That's going to be a problem here, so I'm going to run a flake up through there. How do I know it's going to be a problem? After many, many years, I guess, I get to see, I know where the problems are going to happen. Yeah, it's not good. Let's try another one. I think you sure may have another. No, it's still not good. I was trying to get that thin right there, but it didn't work. I'm going to have to blast it with the Nachomatic. I did manage to run some flakes in there, but they're not that good. All right, so what's the Nachomatic? I'm fancy. I got 3 of them, different shapes. Okay, pointy. Where's my heft? This is the hefty. Hold on, I think we lost connection there for a second. I got the pointy one, the hefty one that's flat, and one that's thinner, much thinner for more narrow notches. So I'll be using these 2, and primarily this one here. It's the hefty one. And it's spring-loaded. It's a spring-loaded punch. You get these from Ted Snyder, and he spells his last name Snider. So you put these in the bottom of the notch, or put this in the bottom of the notch. Wherever you think you could take a flake off, and then you pull back on the spring a little bit, and voila, pops out a flake. And if you get good at this, you can make deep notches. That's the whole point, without having to do a lot of struggling. Now, it does do step fractures, so it's not perfect, and I'm not perfect, but we'll get there. Okay, just gotta keep going. It works better on stone than it does on obsidian. Surprise, surprise. That was I pulled it back further that time. Okay, but I gotta make sure I don't blast a pop out that's really, really big, because it takes off the barb or takes off part of the base. This is a very powerful tool. You're not losing any energy with the steel. Did they have these back in the day or anything similar? Well, no, they had vertical punches, but to get something spring-loaded, you need something pretty creative. You got to get very creative to get some kind of spring-loaded mechanism that's primitive. I don't know. Could have asked the professor on Gilligan's Island. A lot of my audience is old like me, but I think the numbers are skewed a little bit because I think there's a bunch of kids using their grandparents' accounts to cruise the YouTubes. Yeah. It makes everyone look old when they're not. Oh, see that? That was a huge pop out. That can take off a barb. It was lucky that it didn't. Yeah, very lucky it did not do it. I'm starting to use more force by pulling back more on the spring. But it's dangerous. Oh yes, it's risky. And you know, the more vertical you are, the less risky it is, but you can also punch at an angle. But I find that the more vertical you are, the less risk there is. But it depends on the stone too. Some stone, there's always a lot of risk because it's just so fragile, especially obsidian. Okay, and I can't give you a lot of advice on this because I'm still learning myself. All I know is that there's a way to tell if you're taking lots of risk just by the previous flake. Some people go, "Oh, I took off that much. I could take off a little bit more. Let's do it." No, it's not that easy to predict. It seems like it would be easy to predict, but it's still a guessing game as far as pulling back on the spring. You don't know exactly what you're doing. It doesn't have a gauge on it where you know the exact number. If it had a gauge on it, it'd be easier. Yeah. That way you can pull it back with the same amount of force every time and not overdo it. You just still have to guess. You got to wing it. And all this does is remove the delicate edge when I scrape it like that. It's not perfect, but it works pretty much. If you want to get fancy, you use a file or whatever to dull the edges just right. But this is good enough for most punch outs. Now I'm using the corner of the punch. I'm using the corner. I'm not up here way up like this. Some people put a notch in the side so it goes in exactly at a 32nd of an inch or something, but I don't like that. Sometimes I'm less than a 32nd of an inch in on the edge. Hey, Ed Gould, $5, thank you. So you can rest the tool at an angle or straight like this. Anything, I think that's like 30 degrees to 90 degrees, something like that. I think. You know, let's say that's 0. From 0 to 30 degrees is what I use. I don't go that far down like that. I don't go down all the way to 45. It's either 0 up here to like 15 to 30 degrees, something like that. Anywhere in that range. Mostly 0 to 15, I would say. Yeah. Okay. And it's right on the edge. It's up on the edge, maybe a 32nd, sometimes a 16th of an inch, depending on the material. If it's a big, gigantic piece, I'll go up on the edge, maybe a 16th, or if it's particularly stubborn. But usually it's about a 32nd of an inch, just barely. And if it's not working for you when you do just barely up on the edge, then go deeper. Go up higher on the edge, I mean. So you can take a deeper punch out. And flip it over if it's not working, yeah. Yada, yada. It's like working on the edge. You do whatever works. You can zigzag too with this thing. There, a little bit better. And zigzag it, or just go back and forth. That was straight up and down. That one worked pretty good. Get rid of the delicate areas, but don't grind it too much because you stall it. It's got to have at least a little bit of a ledge. And then hit harder. Yeah. So it's got to have a little bit of a ledge for you to set on. Okay? It can't be all, stalled and dull. You do have to dull it a little bit. But you got to have a little bit of a depression or a ledge to set your tool into. And when I was watching Ed Bow, he says bottom of the bulb. So yeah, the bottom of that last bulb that you blasted out of there, that's where you set the tool. Bottom of the bulb. But not too far in and I use the corners. The corners get rounded, so you need to have square corners. Square corners work better, and they're already starting to get rounded, but that's okay. You'll notice when the roundness is too much. It won't be popping them out like that. Okay, that's when you know it's too rounded, and you have to flatten it again and make the edge, make the corners sharp. Okay, and I can do the sides too. I don't have to do the notch. I can do the sides of the stem. See, I just took some material off the side of the stem. I just punched down on the side of the stem. It doesn't have to be at the bottom of the notch. Wherever I see a thick spot, I can use the notch-o-matic to work on the edge as well. Like I'm going to punch out one right there. Hopefully. Doesn't take much. All right, so let's see. I'm getting close to what I need as far as depth of notches. There's a reason why on the artifacts these are not all that deep. Now, with some artifacts, yeah, they have very deep notches, but those are the crazy Indians. Yeah, nuts. They're nutballs. Making the notches that deep. It's very risky. And then once you have it complete, it's so easy to break them once they're finished that it's just, I don't know why they did it. These are crazy. OCD. Yeah. Does that count as crazy? I think so. Oops. I gotta hit too hard. There. See, if you start hitting really hard, like the other side, it takes off these big old pop outs. It could take off a barb. I got lucky that it didn't again. I'm being very gentle now. After you get a good pop out, you don't need to be as aggressive because it gets thinner. But see, now I'm at the thick spot that I tried to thin out earlier. Or is that the thick spot? I think it is. Let's try to power through the thick spot. It's not going to work. Well, it'll work if I hit it hard enough. Except it sometimes works too good. I'm trying to zigzag it a little bit. And I'm going to punch in at a little bit of an angle. Maybe it's getting too rounded too. Okay. Don't crash and burn. I'm thinking that maybe I don't need to do any further. Yeah, I might just wimp out and not do much more. All right, let's see. Let me just try punching out the bottom with a flaker. I'm going to try to get that bottom popped out with this flaker. Yeah, but I got to make this more narrow. Make this thinner. I'm afraid to use a notch-o-matic on it right now because I've had days where just one more pop out with the notch-o-matic, and then that's it. Ruins the whole thing. So instead of doing the one last pop out with a notch-o-matic, I'm going to try the pressure flaker. Yeah, I can blame it on the pressure flaker. Yeah, but you're the pressure flaker, dude. You're the one doing the pressure. Don't blame it on the thing. I can blame it on the thing if I want. Yeah. I'm going to widen the notch out. I'm going to cheat. Widen these notches out. So if I hit the sides, I'm not going to ruin everything. Yeah, that worked okay. That pop out worked okay on that side. Let's see if it does it. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I kind of did it. Kind of. Let's see. All right, so it behaved on that side. Let's see if it'll behave on this more difficult side. I bent the pressure flaker. See that? That's how much pressure I'm using. I'm not supposed to be using that much pressure. No, so don't tell nobody. I just feel it's safer with the pressure flaker than to try to notchomatize with the notchomatic. But I might have to. It's not doing it. It's not doing it. I stalled it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm just chipping at it. Let's try the notchomatic one more time. Yes. I don't need to go deeper than that with the Marshall, but I want to because I want to see. I want to see if I can. And I'm widening these notches just in case I hit the sides by accident. All right, let's see. I'm going over my time, yes. Hold on. Make the corners more sharp. There's probably already a burr starting to develop. Okay. Here we go. Yes? Yes. Why is there some came off? What did it do? Okay, some more came out. What is it doing? It's not doing much. I guess it's just unstalling it, yeah. All right, let's see if I can get a pop out. Yeah, that unstalled it. So let's see if I can get a pop out. Yes. A pop out. Look at that. I'm so happy. Okay, let's see. No funny laughs are allowed, okay? Funny laughs will get you in lots of trouble. Oh yeah, people will start thinking you're weird. How do I know? I don't know. All right, let's see. Can I do it? Can I do this? Yes, I can do it. It did it. See that? That's it. That's all I'm going to do on that. Now let's try the other side. The next victim. Here we go. Okay. So I'm hitting blindly. Right? I can't really see where I'm hitting. Well, I can see where I'm placing this. But when I hit, I'm just going to trust that it stays in one spot. No, it's not doing it. I'm going to sneak up on the side here. Yeah, there it is. I'm punch out a little bit from the side and then creep in. So I'm going to punch a little bit on the side here. I punch on the side. And now I'm going to flip it over. Let's see if I can punch in the bottom of the bulb there. Yes? Or should I just keep... That doesn't look like I can... I probably cannot hit that. It's too dull. So if I flip it over, I put the notch-o-matic in the bottom of that bulb, and that might work. Yeah. But I got to be careful not to take off too much. You could have explosive results. That was okay. So I blasted that off. Now I can hit the bottom of the bulb on this side and continue my way in. Yes. Just keep hitting the bottoms of the bulbs. Yeah, until I get a nice pop out. Yes. Why wasn't I scraping? Because I didn't need to scrape it till just now. Yeah. Let's try this again. One last time. Okay. Yes. I think that's it. Yeah, it's not stalled or crunched too much at the bottoms of these notches. Yeah, good. Very nice. Yeah. Let me hit the side of the stem here. Hold on. Yeah, like that. All right, so let me clean up the sides of the stem a little bit. I don't like to see any crunchy areas on the side of the stem. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And no thick spots either. No crunchy spots and no thick spots on the sides of the stem because it looks nasty. Okay, so all I got to do now is sharpen, which means just sharpen the sides, yep, of the notches. I mean, of the barbs. I already did the size of the notches. So I'm going to sharpen with little flakes. The sides of the barbs. And this is a delicate operation because you can snap the barb off, yes. So I'm making sure that it has some pad support. If I push hard, I'm not pushing that hard. And I got to be careful on these edges because if they're too dull and I end up pushing with too much pressure, it snaps the barb off. Okay. But it's not as dangerous as it would be if these were still thick. See, I thinned these down earlier, so now I don't. The flakes I need to take are not that big. Yeah, like that. You don't need to be pointy yet. This is just the first stage of the Marshall. They get resharpened, or back in the day, they would resharpen these, and the barbs would get more pointy, and the middle would get more narrow. This is the first stage Marshall. Okay? All right, so this is how you sharpen. You just kind of go around and pick at the edge, drive a longer flake if you need it, etc., etc. And these barbs, like I said, they don't need to be pointy on a Marshall on the first stage, okay? Where's the Marshall in the book? Let me see. Let me see how accurate I am on the actual size. M-N-O. 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 Marshall, yeah. Some of them have little thinning flakes, some of them don't. They just have, yes. Some of them have multiple flakes. Some of them do have these thinning, fluty-like things. So my base is that wide. Yeah. My notches are a little bit deeper. So I'm within range. Yeah. These come in various sizes. This looks more like a Paternalis here because a Marshall has an expanding stem. Paternalis has a contracting. That one looks more like a Paternalis. This one looks more like a Marshall because it has the expanding stem. Okay, so mine's on the larger size. It almost looks like a, what do they call that? There's another point that has that. Those type of notches that curl up slightly. Now, some Marshalls, they have barbs that have a concave interior and not this convex interior. What is the name of that point? I don't remember. Anyways, the point's not from Texas. It looks like this. Okay. What kind of foreshaft does it need? Well, this was too small. Does it need a knife handle? Yeah, the knife handle is a little bit too wide for this. It's a good notch. It's a good notch width, I guess. That would be a nice knife like that. Perfect. If this wood here is more narrow to match the stem, it would be perfect. How about this? How about that? Yeah, be a little bit better. Yeah, how about that? I think Marshalls were knives, so that would be better. This is more narrow than the other one. And when you wrap it, it's good to have the wood the same size as the stem. I would do that. Yeah. I just make it more narrow up here, across the neck here, on the wood. Yeah, that would be my knife. I might just keep it for myself. Yeah, be greedy. No, it'll be available in the auction. I'll probably finish this up off camera. But yeah, that's the way I would have to on a handle like this. And this one is split all the way down because it was made with primitive tools. See how the wood is split all the way down. And then you wrap it to reassemble. That way you can make the notch much easier if you split it. It's much easier to make that notch with stone tools if the whole handle is split. Okay, and this wood here, what is it? I don't even know. Let's see. I think it's elm. Yeah, but no, it can't be elm because elm doesn't split that easy. What is it? Might be walnut. The sapwood from the walnut, because I can start seeing some of the heartwood there. I had some walnut that I got from the dump. We have a lawn trash collection area. I pick up wood there sometimes. All right, so that's the way that would look. Yeah, and as you resharpen, it gets more narrow and all that, but you still retain the same handle. And then when the blade wears out, you make a new one, keep the handle, and you stick a new one in there, just like a utility knife. Just replace the blades. Yeah. There you go. Perfect. But yeah, this will be available in the auction once I finish it out. And I had to look to see I have other martial artifacts. I gotta look to see if the inside of the notches are convex or concave. Let's see if this will help. I think the notches are concave. Well, that one's convex. That one's concave. This one's a little bit concave. That one's concave. Yeah, I think it'd be safe if I widen the notch out. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? I'll quit here in a minute. But I can make these a little wider. Make this area concave right there. I don't need to make the whole thing concave because as it gets resharpened, it'll get down to that point there. You know what I mean? It'll get to that point where it'll meet up with the concave area, but I don't need it all concave. See, I don't need to remove that much. I only need to remove a little bit, I think. Okay, and there it is. Yeah. I'm just messing with it now. Symmetry. I have OCD for symmetry. Yeah. So does everybody else. So there. Okay. And as it gets resharpened, a lot of these points in Texas, they take big thinning flakes to make it thinner. Because as you resharpen, a lot of these Texas points are not beveled. So they worry about the thickness. And as the edge starts getting really thick, they'll take more thinning flakes. And sometimes they're broken in manufacture that way. You can tell that they broke it on the resharpening because they were taking more thinning flakes. As it gets more narrow, the edge gets thicker, so they take thinning flakes instead of beveling the edge. Okay? All right. That's it. What do we have in the chat? What do we got going? What did you bind the handle with? This one is hemp cordage. You buy this hemp cord at Walmart in the jewelry section. It's hemp cord. Yeah, jute is not good. It's too fuzzy. You get the hemp cord from Walmart. Did you make handles yourself? Yeah, I make my own handles. This is my style of handles. Yeah. Let's see. Damon says, nice point, Patrick. Thank you, thank you. Beautifuls, says Jay Valdez. Any questions? I'm looking for questions. Chris Turner says, what is it? It's a Marshall point. Oddly, we see you, and I don't think you are blocked, Ed. Yeah, Ed's not blocked. You should cut one with a diamond wheel and a facet to polish it. Well, yeah. I'm not going to do it. It can be done, though. Ed, are you blocked from bidding? Oh, man. Let me see. I don't know. I'm going to look and see if it's possible to unblock you if you are bidding, if you are blocked. I'm checking the auction, okay? Let's see. Newest. All right, we got lots of replies. Let me see if I can see anything from Ed. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'm going to check to see if you are blocked. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the live stream. See if I can figure out what's going on here. I'll try to click on your name and see if I've got you blocked or something. Go to channel. How can I tell if you're blocked? Okay, I'm going to subscribe to you. Why was I not subscribed? All right, hold on a second. Hold on, let's see. Clay says, I'd love to see you make an Andice point. Yeah, I'd like to see you make an Andice point too. I just don't like making them because they break a lot. Does your style of handle come from any particular inspiration? No, it's not a particular inspiration other than I have a lot of experience hafting points, so this is the easiest for hafting. Any tips to keep from crushing the edges? Any tips? Yeah, grind more. That's the only tip for not crushing the edges, is grind it more. Let's see. I need to figure out how to make sure that Ed is not blocked. Maybe YouTube put you in timeout, Ed. Let's see. There's no deleted messages, no timeouts, no hides. You just need to restart your phone, I think, Ed, because everything else seems to be working for you. Go to a different video and see if you can comment. If you can, then there's something wrong with YouTube. Must have done something with you on that particular video, on the auction video. You should be able to comment on other videos. Mike says you wouldn't be able to see his comments if he's blocked. Something is off between his device and YouTube is my guess, yeah. I might make an Andice point on video one of these days. I just don't like making them. I've made about 2 or 3, and my success rate is like 1 out of 4 attempts. So that means, let's say I made 3 Andice times 4, I broke like 9 pieces just to get those 3, or 12 pieces just to get those 3. It's not worth it, but I'll probably do it eventually. Okay, that's it, guys. I gotta go. Yeah, try logging out, Ed, and try logging back in. Do a lot of stuff, you know, restart your phone, etc., etc. Yeah, there should be no reason for you to be blocked. Okay, later, everybody. Good to see everybody. And next live stream is Wednesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. I might do a 3-hour live stream just so I can finish a point completely. Yeah. But I'll stick with the 2 for now. If I can't on Wednesdays, if I can't complete the point in 2 hours, then I'll extend it to 3. How's that? Okay. All right. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.